Yo, what is going on, everyone? My name is Nick, or The Notorious Fantasy, and in today's video, we're going to be going in-depth into my top 5 defenses to stream for week number 6 of the 2022 fantasy football season, as well as giving a bonus 6 defense. Now, I'm not going to go super in-depth into that defense, but I will talk about them if you need another defense to potentially stream on the week. But before we can get on into things, I would like to ask that if you guys are new to the channel and you do end up enjoying today's video, that you please make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. And while you're down there, whether you are new to the channel or not, please make sure that you do leave a like on today's video. It would help me out a ton. And if you do want to follow me on Twitter, please do so at NotoriousFNTSY. I would also like to ask that if you guys have any questions revolving around week number 6, to never hesitate and ask down below in the comment section. I love talking to you guys down there. And there's also a quick note that there are multiple teams on bye this week in week 6. The Detroit Lions, the Tennessee Titans, the Las Vegas Raiders, and the Houston Texans. So there are now less defenses to choose from, thus making it very hard to stream defenses the next couple of weeks, or at least much harder to stream defenses the next couple of weeks while there are byes. So without further ado, let's get into my week number 6 defenses to stream. We begin with my number 1 defense to be streaming on the week, the Baltimore Ravens, going up against the New York Football Giants in MetLife. Currently, the Ravens defense is owned in 63% of leagues on Yahoo Fantasy, so if you plan ESPN, CBS, NFL, any of those other fantasy football platforms, then the ownership percentage should be slightly different, though I will note in some cases, the ownership percentage could be drastically different for some of these defenses from site to site. So with the Ravens defense, last week, they go up against the Cincinnati Bengals at home in Baltimore on Sunday Night Football. They got 3 sacks, 1 interception, and 17 points allowed, which is pretty good going up against the Bengals offense. Now, I know the Bengals offense, they kind of had a bit of a Super Bowl hangover. T. Higgins wasn't really playing at all in that game, but still, the defense did look good in that game. The Baltimore Ravens defense has been pretty so-so this season, so I did think just allowing 17 points and getting that interception up against the Bengals offense was quite impressive. This week, they faced the Giants, and the Packers defense up against the Giants in London had 1 sack, 1 safety, and 27 points allowed. But when we look at these London games and we try to break things down, I kind of take the game with a grain of salt, because I really do think that since the game was played in London, some crazy wonky shit is just bound to happen. Now, the Packers got outplayed in that game. The play calling by Brian Daboll has been amazing. Brian Daboll has completely turned this fucking team around at a rapid rate. It is very impressive what he has done for the Giants. But I will note that the Giants offense is extremely banged up. Daniel Jones, I don't even think next week up against the Ravens, this week in week number 6, that Daniel Jones will be fully healthy. They also have a ragtag group of wide receivers that is incredibly banged up. And again, I understand the Ravens aren't the fucking 85 Bears or something, right? They're not the best defense to ever walk this earth. But what I do know is that the Ravens defense is good enough to capitalize on the mistakes that Daniel Jones can make. We all know that Daniel Jones is prone to turning the ball over. It does appear that he has turned a new page, turned the metaphorical leaf this season. He looks better under Brian Daboll. But at the end of the day, I still do think that the Ravens defense should be owned this week, and you definitely could be playing the Baltimore Ravens defense this week up against the Giants, especially if that wide receiver core ends up being like what it was like in England, because their wide receiver core is decimated. Next up, we move to the LA Chargers going up against the Denver Broncos at home in Los Angeles. Currently, the Chargers defense is owned in 57% of leagues on Yahoo. Now, up against the Cleveland Browns in Cleveland in week number 5, the LA Chargers defense got bent over a fucking table. 1 interception and 28 points allowed. The Cleveland Browns offense, despite the fact that Jacoby Brissett normally just like his uptick is unreal, right? At the beginning of the game, the guy's on fire, and he keeps that fire. He keeps getting better and better and better. And then in the 4th quarter, everything falls apart. It's like crazy how that can happen, right? Jacoby Brissett looks so good quarters 1 through 3, and then magically in quarter number 4, it's like the guy forgets how to play fucking football. It really is crazy, because in the 4th quarter, the guy starts looking like Stevie Wonder, like he can't see anything. But this video isn't really about the Browns offense. We're talking about the Chargers going up against the Broncos. And congratulations to the Browns for looking this good at the start of the season without Deshaun Watson. We can only assume how good this offense will be once Deshaun Watson returns, if Deshaun Watson is at his maximum abilities. But again, I'm not here to suck off the fucking Cleveland Browns offense. We're here to talk about the Chargers, who are playing the Broncos country. Let's ride this week. They made the Colts defense look like what people probably thought the Colts defense was going to be like going into the season. The Colts defense, week 5, up against the Denver Broncos in Denver on Thursday Night Football. 4 sacks, not 1, but 2 interceptions, and only 9 points allowed. Russell Wilson is going to be banged up going into this game. The Chargers defense has looked abysmally bad compared to what you would think they would look like going into the season. Like, on paper, this defense looks amazing. They haven't played that way, but this week they play the Broncos. And while I've tried to make every single fucking excuse in the book for the Broncos defense, how much more can I take? How many times are the Broncos going to fuck us, the fantasy football players, over until we realize that it's time to stop taking that abuse from them? The Broncos offense is fucking awful. And I don't know necessarily who to blame. Do you put all the blame on Hackett? Do you start putting it on Russell Wilson? I understand Javonte Williams is hurt, so you can't really blame him. It wasn't his fault. It's maybe a mix of the coaching and Russell Wilson. But this offense in Denver is complete and utter dog shit. And until they turn the leaf, they turn the page, they start to look like the offense that everyone thought they would be. There's a reason why they've played so many primetime games. It's because on paper going into the season, this team looked amazing. They looked like offensive fireworks were going to be bursting in every game. But we're fucking 6 games in the season. We've already seen 5 games, so we're 5 games in the season. This is week 6. The Denver Broncos don't give me anything. They don't give me anything. So the Chargers up against the Broncos, this is a smash spot. Next up, we move to the New England Deflatriots at the Cleveland Browns. The Patriots defense is currently owned in 41% of leagues on Yahoo Fantasy. Now, to start off the season, the Patriots defense was not very good at all, but recently they started clicking on a better level. They're starting to look a lot better. Now, last week they went up against the Detroit Lions. Amon-Ra St. Brown was banged up. They didn't have DeAndre Swift, but still the Lions defense was just so, or the Lions offense was just so fucking good, I should say, that it was like, oh man, they might be able to beat the Patriots, because the Patriots were also looking awful. But looking back, it was kind of obvious that the Patriots could have done this, but I personally was really high on the Lions. I was like, oh man, this is going to be a very fun game to watch. Wasn't really all that fun, because the Patriots defense against the Lions, 2 sacks, 1 interception, 1 fumble recovery, 1 touchdown, and a grand total of 0 fucking points allowed by the Patriots defense. The Patriots defense played a perfect game. And the Lions had no answer to that. Bill Belichick took Dan Campbell and fucking put his head in a toilet and started flushing that shit, giving him a swirly, right? He outcoached him immensely. Now, we just talked about the Chargers defense before. The Chargers played up against the Browns last week in Cleveland. 1 interception, 28 points allowed. But I think the Patriots defense is now starting to really click. They're starting to really figure things out, and I think that the Patriots will be able to figure out Jacoby Brissett. Now, this is a revenge game for Mr. Brissett, and you guys know that I love revenge games, but at the end of the day, while I love the revenge game, I have to take things seriously when I give my analysis on things, and I think that the Patriots defense might wipe the floor with the Browns offense, and I also genuinely think that this is going to end up being a low-scoring game, which is why my number 4 defense to stream the Cleveland Browns, to stream is the Cleveland Browns up against the New England Patriots, 15% owned on Yahoo. Now, since the teams were on bye that we listed off at the beginning, the Lions, the Les Titans, the Las Vegas Raiders, and the Houston Texans, it is more slim picking, and as we keep getting into these bye weeks, the defenses to stream become more difficult because there are not as many defenses to choose from. Last week, the Browns defense got Cleveland steamered by the LA Chargers offense, 1 sack and 30 points allowed. The Lions defense, week 5, up against the Patriots offense in New England, 1 interception, 23 points allowed. Now, right now, it is very unclear who the starting quarterback is going to be of the Patriots. We know that it's not going to be Brian Hoyer. The question is, will it be Zappy or will it be Mystic Mac Jones? Obviously, if I'm streaming the Browns defense, I want the Browns to be playing up against Zappy because Zappy is not as good of a quarterback as Mac Jones. Mac Jones isn't the best quarterback on earth, but he's definitely a step up from Zappy, in my opinion. I think that's kind of the normal opinion, right? I don't think that's really out there to say that Mac Jones is better than fucking Bailey Zappy. Again, to kind of highlight and to go back to what I was saying at the beginning to give a recap here, I like the Browns defense, not because the Browns defense is amazing. They've definitely been underperforming, but I really like their defense because I like the matchup against the Patriots offense, and because I think this game on Sunday, when all things are said and done, might be a complete and utter fucking snooze fest. A game that you see on Red Zone every 30 minutes because there's like a field goal or something. I don't think this is going to be a huge offensive firepower back and forth affair. Now, maybe I'm completely off, right? And Bailey Zappy lays the hammer to the Browns, and Jacoby Brissett is getting his revenge against the Patriots, and the score is like 28-21 at the end of the game, and that's not the most high-scoring game on earth, but more high-scoring than I would project right now. Again, it's definitely up in the air. Anything could happen on Sunday, but right now, based upon the amount of defenses that we have to stream and the best choices for defenses this week are all owned in like 90% of leagues, you're going to have to go to the bottom of the barrel in some situations and fire up the Browns defense before we move to the 5th defense, the 5th and final defense to stream. Before I talk about there is a 6th defense. Now, they're not going to go on the screen. They're kind of just the special guest defense that I'm going to be talking about, the honorable mention at the end of today's video. I do want to give you guys a quick word for our friends and our sponsor over at Underdog Fantasy. Are your best ball teams already fried? Well, head on over to Underdog Fantasy to resurrect them with their Week 6 through Week 17 best ball tournament. Week 6 is right around the fucking corner. This video is being released on Monday, October 10th. This contest closes on Thursday prior to Thursday Night Football, so make sure you get in before it's too late. The entry fee is only $10 with $500,000 in total prizes and $100,000 going to first place. And my favorite thing about best ball is all you have to do is draft your team and that's it. You don't have to worry about doing the waivers on Tuesday night. You don't have to worry about making trades because there's no trades, there's no waivers, and there's not even in-season management because Underdog will automatically set your lineup for you at the end of the week with your highest scores. Underdog also features daily and best ball contests for the NBA, MLB, PGA, and NHL. So you can get action all year long. All you got to do is click on the link in the video description or use promo code Stokastic to get a first match deposit bonus of up to $100. So you deposit $100, they give you an additional $100, which is 10 free entries into that best ball resurrection tournament. So back on into things, we pivot into the final defense here. The Washington Commanders at the Chicago Bears. The Commanders defense is currently owned in 3% of leagues on Yahoo Fantasy. Week 5 up against the Les Titans at home in Washington. 5 sacks and 21 points allowed for the Washington Commanders defense. The Vikings up against the Bears on Sunday. 2 sacks for the defense, 1 fumble recovery, and 22 points allowed. Now, at the end of the day, the Washington Commanders defense really just isn't all that good. But when they go up against a team like the Bears that just don't throw the ball, they're extremely good at running, I would say, but they don't throw the ball much. They don't score a lot of points, and typically when they throw the ball, Justin Fields has only thrown the ball 20 times a game, so he makes mistakes because he's fucking ice cold from just handing the ball to David Montgomery 7,000 fucking times. So again, while I don't love the Commanders' defense, they're going to get sacks in this game, and they have the upside to turn Justin Fields over because he's fucking ice cold on the sideline. So I like the Commanders' defense. Again, the defense isn't all that great, but when you're streaming a defense, all you're looking at is who they're playing up against, and the Chicago Bears offense is dog shit. So we move now to the final defense, even though this was our final defense. This is kind of our extra, the Vikings at the Dolphins. Now, I think this defense is risky to pick up because, in my opinion, based upon what I have seen, I'm a Dolphins fan, it seems like Tua Tagovailoa is going to return up against the Vikings. This video is being recorded on Monday. If you're watching this on Friday, it's like, oh, Tua's going to play, then obviously don't stream the Vikings defense. But there's still a chance that Teddy doesn't clear concussion protocol, even though he didn't even have a fucking concussion. That's what they said. He passed all of the concussion tests, but because they saw him stumble a little bit, you sit on the bench now because of these new stupid fucking rules. I digress. If fucking Skylar Thompson's the starting quarterback for the Dolphins, the Vikings defense will probably be the #1 defense at the end of the week, because even though Skylar might be able to get a little bit better with 7 days of practice or 6 days of practice as the starting quarterback, as the guy, it doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't matter because the Vikings defense is good and Skylar is not good at all. So thank you guys all so much for watching today's video. If you did end up enjoying, please make sure that you hit that subscribe button down below, as well as hitting that like button. It would help me out a ton. If you do want to follow me on Twitter, again, please do so at NotoriousFNTSY. And if you have any questions about week number 6, please make sure that you ask down below in the comment section. I love you guys all so much. I hope you have a great rest of your guys' day. And as always, good boy.